Should we introduce ourselves?
I think we should. Do you want to go first?
Well, you know me, I'm not one to talk about myself. Hello, I'm Elisha Savage, the owner of Savage Productions and Promotions.
And my name is Leo Money, starting off Vibe HQ.
And behind the camera, we have Mr. 258 Studios.
Chris. Okay,
I love how you waved.
I know you waved like...
Anyway.
So let's go into it, shall we?
Absolutely. I mean, we've done enough talking.
So, the whole point of this podcast is we want to get to know you, we want to get to know what Undisclosed is and what Savage PnP is and all together. So I want to start off with, who are you?
Who am I? So, as mentioned, I am Elisha Savage, the owner of Savage Productions and Promotions. And my vision of what I'm trying to do is build a national community within the music industry, focusing on underground, up-and-coming talent, getting them recognised within their city, but also getting them recognised in different cities, different postcodes, different audience. And do you know what? I just want to bring an absolute vibe. So hopefully I've done that.
I like what you said about vibe. It fits with Vibe HQ.
It does.
But that's what I'm all about. I'm all about the vibes. And I love what you've been doing behind the scenes. I love what you've been doing with your work ethic as well. There's not a lot of people in the scene doing what you're doing at the moment. Like, there's a lot of pop-up shows.
Yeah.
But
quality pop-up shows as well.
You're building a brand. And I like that. You don't get to see that as much. So, what is Savage PnP?
So, it is a platform for up-and-coming underground artists to really, really get noticed. Like, we are moving in a different direction to the pop-up events that you are seeing around the cities. And the main reason is we're putting artists on a platform where they get to showcase their talent. There's no rules or regulations of how they've got to do it. I want them to be 100% naturally their authentic selves. We save about 20 to 30% of the footfall for industry guest lists. So we invite artist managers, producers, other artists, brands, venues that book artists, because there's a whole negative press around the music industry at the minute, and it's completely understandable. Artists don't feel like they're valued. They feel like labels, promoters, everyone's taking advantage of them. They feel like they're not heard. They feel like they're cash cows. They don't feel valued. And we're really, really trying to break that stigma. And that's why we describe what our offering as a community, because we want artists to do our events and feel like this has the opportunity for us to grow and glow. And no doubt later we'll get into the city swaps and different things that we do. But we just want to make artists feel heard and valued.
And I hear that. Even working with you, I completely agree. Like, get into, how can I put it? Starting with the introduction when we first, I'd say properly met. We met at, what was it? Factory?
Yes, Factory International.
Factory International. It was the artist showcase. I can't lie. Sorry if anyone did perform. The majority of the time we were talking.
We had business to do.
I think we had an hour and a half conversation just talking about plans and where we could like cross our work and work together, and here we are. So working with you right now, I feel like you're taking a chance with me, and I'm honoured. I'm honoured for the chance. So,
do you know what, Leo? I mean, I always do my research. So I asked people about you anyway. I was like, you've approached me for work and how is it? From everyone, I got solid feedback. So I was like, right, this guy must be something special.
Shout out everyone.
Yeah, shout out the fans. So when we kind of discussing like our vision and everything, do you know what it is? I work off energy. Like, I don't need you to have a CV of greatness. What I need you to do is I need you to have passion. I need you to have a work ethic. I need you to have a set of balls. That's what I need.
You need to have the vibe.
You need to have the vibe.
The vibe. But yeah, like, so if you don't know, March the 15th, 2024, in case everyone is scrolling back, stalking us. 2024, we're going to be hosting at Off the Square. But yeah, Vibe HQ, Savage PnP, Undisclosed, 258 Studios. We're all collaborating together to put on this amazing artist showcase. So yeah, make sure you show up.
Love to see you there.
Yeah. So we've talked about what Savage PnP is, like talked about the mindset behind it, but can you tell me what the origin of it is? Like, how did it all begin?
So I was approached by an artist to help him with his album launch, and I was very keen to do it. So I organised a venue, but what I wanted to do is I wanted to do it in London because I thought I need to prove to everyone I'm not messing. And if you can prove you can do an event, a successful event in the hardest city in the UK, you can take that blueprint anywhere. So I really just took kind of like a huge leap of faith within myself and took this guy on and said, right, we're going to do it in London. I got a venue, I got brand partners, but then I realised it kind of needed padding out this event. It needed like a lineup just to make sure more people are coming through the door with it being my first event. And I reached out to a guy, an absolutely amazing human called Ayiti. He did not need to reply to me. He's never met me before. I slid into his DMs and I was like, hi, I see you work for Sony Music, Miniature Sound. I'm putting this event on. I've got brand collabs. I've got the venue. I just really need a bit of guidance with the lineup. The guy, which you could just think, you don't need to help people, but if this is a message to anyone, if someone is in your inbox and you could help them, just help them because it can really grow into something. 100%. He messaged me back. He was like, yeah, really interested. Help me create the lineup. He brought some serious talent to the stage. He even performed himself because he's a fantastic artist. And ever since then, he's always supported. He's always helped me. I've seen him at future shows. So it literally went from there. I did it in London. Don't get me wrong. I took a loss, took a huge loss, huge financial loss because...
I'm happy you said that.
I did. I probably lost about over £1,000. Do you know
I take that back.
Do you know what it was? It's because it's your first one, you're learning, you're growing, you're developing, you're not quite sure how to execute it. But then obviously from then getting numerous business partners like 258 who've worked in the industry for years, looked at my budget tracker and was like, Elisha, why are you spending so much money on this? And I got basically, Chris really helped me to get it down to a price where we could start seeing a serious profit. So thank you, Chris.
Shout out, Chris. But just on that, I'm actually quite happy that you've mentioned, I have a question about the challenges, but we'll get onto that later. But I'm quite happy you've already mentioned a bit of a struggle that you've had because I feel like a lot of things, this isn't just what you're doing. I feel like whether you're an artist, let's put it this way, whether you're creative, I feel like a lot of people only really see the wins.
Yes.
And it's only the surface what you see on social media. There's a lot of struggles that people do go through.
100%. I mean, anyone who makes a profit on the first event, hats off to you, because I don't know many people that do.
Honestly.
Many people that do.
It's a miracle.
There are, you go through, this industry is amazing because it's a creative space, it's inspiring, you can be 100% your authentic self. But with that comes a lot of judgment, comes a lot of criticism, comes a lot of backlash. It's lonely as well because it's you that's got the vision. It's just you. It's your vision in your brain and your determination to do it. And it can be hella lonely. Like, I'm not going to lie. So don't ever be like kind of put off. Like, keep going. Resilience is so key in this game. And also, don't be afraid to say you got lucky. Like, me messaging that lad, being like, can you help me? That was sheer luck. The stars aligned. It happened. And I thank him every day for that. Every time I see him at events, I'm like, oh, thank you so much. I think he's so sick of seeing me cry. But yeah, so like, luck plays a huge factor. And if something happens to you and think, bloody hell, I got lucky at that, there's a reason. Keep going. Despite the bad days, keep going.
It's a cool story. I don't know if you've seen, this is a bit of a tangent. So there's a rapper out there called Rick Ross that has, I've seen him on a podcast that's mentioned that when he was putting in the craft and not everyone's going to see your vision. And a lot of people try and take you off your tangent. Yeah. Tell you you like, why you're doing it. But I can see here, passion took over. Yeah. Like, so my question to you is, how do you feel about the process, what people would go through when you have a vision? And like, what's your advice, let's say because your vision's come to play now in a certain way. I know it's not the bigger picture that you want, but people can now see it. Have you experienced anyone that people have downplayed you now trying to be in?
I've been I've been very unlucky, as in sometimes I have worked with people that mainly trying to be like, you need to tone your character down. It's unrealistic what you're doing, or just saying, really just criticizing the events in general, not having the most positive attitude towards it. But all I'm going to say is, if you're in an environment where you feel like you can't flourish, one of my favorite sayings that a friend of mine, Gemma, said to me, she was like, as humans, we're not trees. We don't need to stay where we're unhappy. So remove yourself from that environment and get fantastic people to work with. Like, I'm so lucky. My business partners, so I've got Chris from 258 Studios, Alex from Mavro, and Darius from Studio 88. When we're in meetings, sometimes they think, bloody hell, Savage, you are actually crazy, but they don't ever try and dilute my dream, but they just guide me.
Yeah.
They just guide me to where I need to be. And I think that's so essential. And one thing that I will say is, in the music industry, there can be a gender war. Like, men are talking women down, women are slagging men off. I have found it very, very, very beneficial to work with the men that I do in the industry, because they have a different mindset, naturally programmed, and they really, really are backing women in the industry. So I think they do need to be credited for that.
That's a solid answer.
Thank you.
Solid answer.
I accept a bigger paycheck, Chris.
So you're currently you're collaborating with 258.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me how you met Chris?
So me and Chris have kind of heard of each other through the grapevine for like a few years. But pre-COVID, Chris used to do his own undisclosed events. So Undisclosed is actually Chris's original baby.
Oh, okay.
So he used to do the events. Obviously, COVID happened, ruined everyone's life. And I started doing my events. And honestly, I remember thinking, you are going to do it in London to prove you can do it. Because it's hard to do these events anyway. It is harder for a woman. So I thought, just do it in London, show everyone that you've got the balls. And I did the event, great success. And I literally had to be back in Manchester. So I got in my car, drove straight to Manchester, didn't stop. So didn't even look at my phone. So within that 4 hours, I got back to Manchester. I had a message off Chris saying like, can we do one of these events in Manchester? Like, I've done them before and I think you can bring them to life again. I also had a message off a venue saying you can have our venue to do this show in Manchester if you wanted to. And I had messages off numerous rappers being like, oh, if you do a Manchester lineup, can we be on it? And I thought, well, this is going to be the easiest show I've ever done. So that's kind of like where it all kick-started.
But it kind of shows as well, like, oh, sorry, I know we're talking about you and Chris, but again, where you mentioned like putting the work, like take that chance and just do what you need to be done. Whether you take the L first time, you reap the winnings straight after.
In my personal opinion, taking a chance is never a failure because you had the guts to take that chance. The people that are failing are the dreamers in the bedrooms that are just thinking of all these ideas and not taking. They're the failures. If you do something, doesn't work out the way you wanted, so what? Just do it again and learn from it. Like, just keep going. I mean, I've made numerous mistakes over the years.
I've made many mistakes.
It does not matter. Like, the mistakes sometimes are the reasons why you become successful.
Yeah, 100%. So, it's quite a cool story between you and Chris, to be fair.
I bet you wish you'd never messaged me.
For those that don't know, Chris is behind the camera right now.
I've been tired ever since.
He's smirking behind the camera right now, but he's very happy he's met us all. So, we've mentioned Chris. Do you want to share the space we're in? But like, this is a very cool setup.
It's a sick setup, isn't it? Yeah. I literally walked in and was like, wow. So Chris, who owns 258 Studios, so anyone in the UK will know of 258 Studios. It's brought through some serious artists from underground to now successful people that will no doubt be on your Spotify playlist. It's a recording studio in Manchester with a fantastic podcast space now. A recording studio in Manchester that offers recording sessions, mixing and mastering, music videos. And Chris is just an all-round great guy, to be honest. So yeah, if you want to book in a session, highly recommend 258 Studios.
Shout out 258 Studios. Perfecto.
Did I not miss anything? Oh my God, can I get a job here?
Right, so let's go straight into the thick of it. So I've got a range of questions that I want to go through that are a bit more in depth into what Undisclosed is, what a bit about Savage PnP as well. So, first question is, what sets Undisclosed apart from other events in the industry?
So I think what kind of gives us a different offering than other events that I've seen. I mean, don't get me wrong, every event is unique in its own right. But with ours, it's the city swap element. So what we do is we put a range of artists, say from Manchester, on a Manchester lineup, and whoever delivers on the performance on the evening, like really, really gives it like powerful stage presence, as well as sells tickets. They have the opportunity to perform on an alternative lineup in a different city. And the reason why we have that incentive there is we need to home in on artists, how important it is to promote yourself. Like, as much as it breaks my heart,
Facts.
no one is there to see me. Your audience are there to see you, and they're also there to experience new music. So I'm very keen on only working with artists that are heavy promoters, heavy ticket pushers, and who make that opportunity their own on the night.
When doing the city swaps, you can see who's got the work ethic? Do you want to
Yes.
divulge more into that?
So one thing that I will say is artists need to realise all promoters talk to each other, regardless if it's you working on the event together. So say if I see an artist at another promoter's lineup, like their stage presence, love their attitude when I speak to them, but then I say to the promoter, how many tickets did they sell? Promoters share that information. So if you're underperforming for one, it does kind of make its way through the network. Like I literally have a power spreadsheet where it says who I've worked with, how I found their attitude, and how many tickets they sold to refer back to it when they want to come on shows again, because obviously you work with that many artists, it's good to have there. But also, I share that information with promoters. Like if they see someone on my lineup and they think fire, I'll be like, they are fire, but they didn't sell as many as they wanted to, So it is important that, yes, as promoters, we bring X amount of people to the event, but this is your chance to build your fan base, so work at it.
I hear that. I guess that kind of plays into the scene, like, it's like who you know as well then, I guess. Because if you've got a good reputation, people are going to know about you then at some point. And someone who has that opportunity to give you an opportunity, and they know you work well, great feedback, it's only going to work wonders for you, I guess.
Yeah. And one I've touched on before, saying how artists want to feel like valued and heard. Promoters also want to feel valued. So like it works both ways. Like if you're not pushing on social media, getting the word out there about a promoted event, it's not fair, because at the end of the day, these events cost money to put on. So it does work both ways. And that's why we keep pushing the word community, so we all work together.
While we're on community, what do you think of the community of Manchester right now?
So in regards to like the scene and the talent, I think it is so raw, it's so vibrant. It has a very, very unique flair and sound to it. We do our shows London, Manchester and Liverpool at the minute because, in my personal opinion, I think they're the most influential when it comes to music within the UK. That is now going to be growing to Birmingham and Bristol in 2024 because, I'm not going to lie, we're here to take over. I'm here for world domination.
On the world.
But the scene in Manchester is so original. But this is one of the reasons that obviously I brought you on board. Firstly, because I love Leo Money. Are you ready? Are you ready for this ego boost?
I'm born ready.
But also, when I'm at London events, London networking shows with London artists, they actually don't know that much about the Manchester scene. So that's why I'm really keen to have you here as like the media to take it to that next level so people can know Manchester ain't one to be missed on. Do you know what I mean? Like,
it really isn't.
No, it's not.
London, we're coming for you.
Coming for your title.
We're coming for you. So yeah, you talked about you want to expand into these different cities, but let's hone into Manchester.
Okay.
So Manchester, your event,
hometown,
the
motherland,
hometown, the future capital of the UK.
Are you running for like the MP or something?
Yeah, who knows?
Andy
Maybe one
Burnham,
day.
who? We got a little money here now, baby.
So we've talked about expanding into the UK, but let's hone into Manchester. Obviously, we've got an undisclosed collaboration that you have with 258 Studios. Now, I've got a question for you. Is there a unique element or experience that attendees can expect from your event in Manchester? What makes it different?
So what makes it different is the quality lineups. Like, I mean, you've seen the process behind the scenes of how we put them together. The quality lineups, you will never ever disappoint with the talent that we bring to the stage. We also have a fantastic 3D mapper called Dragos. He literally brings any venue to life. Like, insane. Do you know what it is? It's because Manchester, it's a mill city, isn't it? Sorry. Mill city. So you just naturally have those quite cold, big warehouse, and he just turns it into a place where people instantly feel comfortable and they instantly just want to vibe. Do you know what I mean? So we have that. Like I said before, footfall for music industry to attend, either for their own personal growth or for the growth of the artists performing. And it is these city swaps. Like, I don't know anyone at the minute that is offering what we're offering. I mean, last year we moved artists from Manchester to Liverpool, Manchester to London, London to Manchester, all round. And I think that is so important. If you are an artist listening right now and you want exposure, this is the platform for you. They can apply online. So if you go on the Savage PnP page, there is a sign-up form in the bio. You just share your information, share previous work that you've done, share your music links. We review it. If you are suitable for the lineup, we put you on it. And another thing that I'd like to say is every show is a paid opportunity. You are paid to perform regardless of your ticket sales. We also have commissions on ticket sales. And as we've discussed, the city swaps already.
Sounds like a win-win.
Do you know what?
Exposure and money.
I'm happy. They seem to be happy. The audience are happy. It's just a very happy vibe.
I guess it's that element of working together. If everyone can work together, you build a dream team.
Yeah.
Why not? Why sleep on opportunity?
One thing I would like, if people are listening to this right now, is I would like some more customer feedback to see what the consumer wants from the show, because we can't elevate it without knowing what you're looking for. So if anyone is listening to this, drop us in the DMs.
You're working with Chris at the moment, 258 Studios. You come together, you're making it Undisclosed with the collaboration Savage PnP. Now, how has your mission changed over time, working with just Chris on this particular event and then also your own company yourself?
So in the original business concepts that we put together, there was no mention of city swaps. That has come because artists have been saying to us, what we're really looking for right now is exposure. Like, artists are smashing it in Manchester, artists smashing it in London, but nowhere else has heard of them. And the thing is, it kind of can give, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, sometimes artists get a false persona of how popular they actually are because...
Yeah.
And this is no disrespect, but if you are doing a successful show after show after show in Manchester, getting a good reaction, people singing your lyrics back because they know you, and just creating a solid atmosphere, what's good about the city swaps is we move you to London, Liverpool, it'll be Bristol, Birmingham, and it is quite humbling because you're like, this is a new audience. And not only that, different cities react differently to music. Like, Manchester is very they are reflective of energy, so they will really dance, get into it. London are a lot more reserved. They are more the head boppers. They do. And do you know what? A lot of artists don't realise that. So moving from city to city, you do get a different response. And also it's good in that sense. So yeah, the city swaps, they weren't in the original plan. A few artists kept saying to us, what we want is exposure. Money's great, but we want the exposure. And we were like, Chris, we could really tap into something here because, like I said at the start, artists need to feel heard, and we've heard them and we've given them the opportunity that they want.
Perfect. So do you feel like, as a brand, you're more for the artist?
I would say we are more for the artist, but the incentives are essentially there for us to make money so we can continue to grow our platform. Yeah. We put incentives on ticket sales to essentially generate more cash flow so we can go bigger and better every single time. Because at the end of the day, that's what they want as well. That's what we
Exactly.
want. We don't want to stay
Exactly.
the same. We want to be taking over as well. And we want to take you on that journey with us.
I hear that. Obviously, it's a business. If anyone owns a business out there, you'd be wrong if you're not trying to do it for money. But what I've noticed, only just working with you for a couple of weeks now, the money that you've made in the past events, it gets reimbursed into these events to make them bigger, better quality. So it's not just the case that Savage is one promoter just trying to get a quick paycheck. It is the case that she's building a platform, she's building a brand.
Thank you.
Brand. It's not bland.
Oh, they're very bland. All these events are very bland. Thank you so much, Leo. And we're out.
Well, like I was saying, it's just the case of if you're willing to put in the work, it only reflects on the business that she's trying to build. And obviously, as well as working with 258 as well, like the Undisclosed events, like it's going to be a quality lineup, and you will see it once you get there. And that is going to be a domino effect into all the other events that are going to grow across the UK and hopefully internationally.
Also, as well, we come away from the shows with really good working relationships with some of the artists, and we're very grateful for the effort they've put in, the performance they've put in, how they've handled themselves. Like basic manners sometimes go amiss, but some artists really do themselves justice when they're working with us. So from the shows, because obviously we are essentially event managers, we know how to put an event, we know how to build a brand, we know how to put on a show. We have had artists come to us and say, listen, I want to do a headline show, can you help me? And in 2024, there will be 3 headline shows at least from artists we've worked with previously that we admire, respect that much, that we are willing to now give their dream. Instead of them working as like our dream, our goal, our vision, it's now getting flipped on their heads that we are now helping them. So that's important, that if you are good to us, we are good to you.
Sneak peek. Are we allowed to have a sneak peek of who they are yet? Or say cards to your chest at the moment?
Cards to chest at the moment, because it's all coming out. But I mean, I mean, if you've ever seen me in a bar, I think I've told everyone.
So we've mentioned the origin of like Savage PnP, Undisclosed, 258 Studios. What I really want to know is what is the inspiration in actually putting these events on? Like, what is the reason? You've mentioned city swaps, but like you said, it wasn't in the final, the first stage. So what's inspiring you to execute?
So the original show, when it was just me by myself and I went to London, I purely did it because the 2 things I love most in life is music and I love events. So for me, it was just something I wanted to do. The next level of inspiration was when I brought Chris on board, because with him owning 258 Studios, which just, it's literally like a conveyor belt of talent that comes in here. So what's happened now is we've got the studio that brings in talent, which essentially, if you're working in the studio, you then get the chance to perform all the music that you've created here live. And Chris is amazing when it comes to artist development. So whether he's worked with you before or you're new to the lineup and you're new to Chris and 258, he will give you discounted recording studios, advice. And so not only are you coming to the events and blowing people away, you're then working with Chris in the future to come back and do it all over again.
It's good that you're developing. That's good.
Yeah.
Very good.
That's a Chris thing. That's not me. I can't take any credit for that.
Fair enough.
But even though my MC Savage rap was quite good before.
Oh yeah, we'll probably see that later.
It will be coming to a Spotify playlist near you very soon.
You've mentioned like manners is a minimum, pretty much.
Yeah.
So I want to kind of divulge into like the key principles or like the values that you have when it comes to planning and executing these events, both in yourselves, but when working with others.
Yeah. So manners are a big thing for me. Gratitude is a huge flex that is just getting less and less as the years go by. Also just backing each other. Like, you don't necessarily have to be a fan of the other artist's music, but you should still be there supporting them. Because at the end of the day, regardless if it's the beat or the style that you want, you've all got the same dream. So work, help each other. And artist collaborations within themselves and the producers that we work with, they're very powerful, they're very meaningful. Showing respect. Obviously, people come to the events, they're enjoying themselves. It's a networking event. Naturally, people do talk. Hello, I'm the queen of talking. But having that little bit of respect when someone's performing. And when you are an artist, what you are singing about is your heart and soul. And sometimes they can be really painful experiences. So just having the respect to listen to artists as well.
So yeah, we talk about like the principles of an artist. What about the execution between you and Chris?
So me and Chris have a very, very good system and understanding of what we are both good at. So I am fantastic at contracts, negotiating, getting brands on. I'm also a freak in the sheets. I love an Excel spreadsheet, budget trackers and everything. But anything you see and you think, wow, that looks sick, the creativeness, the design, the thing that really draws your attention to our events, that's all Chris. Anything that looks good is Chris. Anything that's like the contracts is me. So we work really well together in that. And we're very transparent with each other when it comes to budgets, when it comes to things that we want, artists that we want. And yeah, just that we have a whole timeline. We know exactly what needs to be done by when. Delivering on time. I'm better at Chris than Chris. If I want summer off Chris in a week, I'll say I'll need it in 3 days. But I've just learned to lie to him.
It's good understanding though.
He must think I'm really demanding, which I am, but sometimes you need a bit of a Mariah Carey in the boardroom.
But it's good that you've got basically two brains working either side of the business. It's always great to have that. It's almost I don't know if this is right actually, but is it yin and yang?
Yes, we are very, very yin and yang.
So yeah, work opposite ways, but you're building a monster.
Do you know what it is? What Chris can do, I could never do. And like the things that I could do, Chris is far too busy to do. Do you know what I mean? So it just works really well, the partnership that we've got. We're very, very lucky.
Every superhero has their kryptonite. What I want to know is, can you highlight certain challenges that you've had that you can teach someone or just give advice to someone when executing an event like Undisclosed?
So I know my personal kryptonite, which is my mouth. And as a woman, as like an individual away from business, I have a saying that is, if you come at me with a sharp tongue, you best have a thick skin because I bite back. Which I've learned you can't always do that in business. Like my mouth has got me in a bit of trouble. So one thing I will say is, sometimes not every argument's worth it. Sometimes not everyone wants to be helped. Sometimes people just want to do it their way. And do you know what? Let them. And when it doesn't work, they will come back. Like sometimes people need to experience failure. And sometimes...
Failure's good though.
Yeah, sometimes as passionate as you are, not everyone will understand your passion. So I would say if you are an individual like me who is very open, opinionated, probably a bit too mouthy, that's just one thing to work on within the sector because there's a lot of people who will play the victim.
So would your advice to someone be essentially hold your tongue or like...
It would be, before you react, assess the situation. Like, is it worth it? Is this person going to hear me out? Like, is this the right environment to be giving honest feedback? Because like I said, some people just generally just don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
They want to do their own thing. They've come to you for advice. You give the advice. Wasn't the answer they wanted. Like, it's just, all I would say is, always be yourself, but I have really learned in the last 2 years to control my character as best I can.
Fair enough. Well, that's good. That's good for you as well. If you're understanding that for yourself, it's great self-development. Like you can understand. I guess that shows how you kind of work. If you're level-headed with yourself, it's only going to reflect with other people. Yes.
Yeah.
So I do work with Savage. So
yeah, don't annoy me.
You will feel the wrath.
You will get to be savage.
You've worked in a lot of cities. What I want to know is, what has been your favourite city to work in?
Oh, you're going to make me turn against everyone now. Honestly, I'm going to be diplomatic. They all have their own reasons why I love them. London, like, let me tell you now, London, you get an extraordinary level of talent because it's London. There's more people there and there's more support in the city. So it's just natural that you're going to get better talent there. Manchester, it's more that underground gritty talent, and I think the audience is vibier. And Liverpool work their hardest because they have the least opportunities out of them three for this particular music genre that we do, like the rap, the Afro beats, the R&B.
Yeah.
So their passion translates to a different level as well.
You've mentioned Liverpool. Yes. Why do you feel...
You have to say Liverpool?
I'm not really good at the accent, so that was pathetic if anyone thinks. Anyway, why do you think Liverpool don't really... I don't know, why are they not on the map?
So, if I'm being truthful, this was not knowledge to me even 12 months ago. I was speaking to a few Liverpool artists that were asking if they could get on the Manchester lineups. And I was like, oh, we kind of only have like 1 out-of-towner, 2 out-of-towners at a time because you need to have the local talent for ticket sales. And they're like, oh, we don't have these platforms in Liverpool. So obviously I was like, gap in the market, and if there's one thing I love, it's doing something new in a new city. So I found an amazing venue in Liverpool which is called Spanish Caravan, great outdoor area. We did a lovely like summer terrace event, which is something I've never done before. So they really opened the doors for a new opportunity for me. And yeah, we actually brought, I think, like 4 or 5 Liverpool acts onto the stage, and we also brought 4 Manchester artists over the water to Liverpool and kind of did like a city collaboration takeover, and it worked really, really well. And from that, we're now putting Liverpool artists on the Manchester show, and we will be doing more Liverpool shows. But yeah,
what are you most excited for the next show?
I am really excited for obviously the artists that are performing. So we've got 2 artists we've worked with previously that we're giving an opportunity to again, because they've released new music. And that's the thing, like, as an artist, you go through cycles. So you do a show, then you're going to do a new album, then you want to come back on the show. So that's happening with 2 artists, which is the first time we've done that, you know. We are all about fresh talent, but because these artists did so well for us last time and their new music is fire, it needs to be heard. I can say who these people are. It's Chev from Hardway and Alcohol Republic.
Nice.
And we're also bringing Ali T from Liverpool. He's sick. He's great. And then we're bringing Jazz Montel from London, who is one of very few artists that when I heard them sing, I got absolute chills. I turned into a fangirl. I just was so unprofessional. I became a bit obsessed with them, I'm not going to lie.
But it's good to be a fan as well with the people you work with.
Oh my goodness. Have you ever seen me at the shows? What am I like, Chris? You would generally think I've bought a ticket. Like, I run around having the time of my life. Like, I do the events that I want to go to. So if you think you're seeing like a professional event manager with a clipboard, absolutely not. I've got an 8-track rum in hand, running around, singing everyone's lyrics back to them, dancing. Chris just shakes his head from the balcony like, oh, she's having a good time. She's worked hard, just let her do it.
But like, I guess that's good because, how can I put it? You've worked so hard to get to that moment. It'd be great to cherish and like reap the benefits of that.
If I'm not even enjoying my events, how can I expect someone else to enjoy it?
Exactly. Yeah. So I guess it's kind of good to see it from a customer perspective from that.
And I'm not going to lie, I do see quite a few people like when I'm like dancing around like, oh, what's your name? Like, I'm Savage. Like, you're Savage. They're like, I think they're a little bit disappointed. I think they're expecting someone really cool at the back that just bobs their head like Dr. Dre, and I'm in the mix like, are you enjoying it? Yeah, there I am.
Okay, so I wanted to ask as well. So Savage PnP as a brand seems to be growing like a monster.
Oh, thank you.
So no worries. You're welcome. It's great to see because obviously it's a creative business and that's the industry I want to go into. It's always good to see a creative business where it is so diverse. There's a lot of people putting events on. Like, it's being very successful.
Yeah.
So what I want to ask you is, can you like give us a success story that has made you proud, like, of what you've built?
I mean, it's probably the biggest success was doing that London show on my own and then literally driving back to Manchester. And then you get to Manchester and you've literally got a business partner, you've got a venue, you've got artists, and you think, bloody hell, that actually paid off. Like, I had no idea what I was doing. Like, that's a huge success. Also, seeing artists grow. So seeing artists go from our shows to headline shows, getting future work, their numerous success stories. Like, we've seen it with Alexandra Serafis from London, Chiara Marzella from Manchester. Their success stories within their own right. I've seen artists like get booked from their events. And do you know what's the biggest success story is? Just people giving good feedback, man.
Yeah.
Like, you can't put a price on that. Like, when an artist, we always say, like, we want artists to develop from our events, but we also want them to walk away and thought, I actually had so much fun doing that. It's like, we just want everyone to walk away from us being like, they benefited and they had a lot of fun doing it. So as long as we're achieving that, then that's a success in its own right.
It makes you credible as well. So, like, if you've got great feedback, it's always good to get feedback from your events. I know you mentioned like you wanted to get a bit more of the customer feedback, but I assume you've got some good ones.
Don't get me wrong. We've had negative feedback as well. Like, but we actually appreciate it. Like, an artist said to us, your set times are too long. Like, can you do shorter set times? And then me and Chris had a sit down about it, had a chat, and we were like, yeah, actually, let's get shorter set times. Let's get more artists on. So it works both ways. We've had artists say that to us. And again, when the city swaps weren't in place, artists were like, well, it's great to be paid, but we want exposure. We've sat down again. How can we make this happen? So we get good feedback and we also get negative feedback. Is it negative feedback? No, it's constructive feedback that we continue to work on.
Yeah, well, that's great to hear, actually, because then your business is always evolving. It's not just a case of you just put on an event, that's it. Like, it only gets better.
Yeah.
So it's great that you actually taking negative and positive feedback.
Do you know, Chris is like a proud dad, because I think one, he's proud that I'm not saying anything inappropriate, but how man's every time I say it, he's like, well done, girl. You've not done anything wrong for the last 30 seconds.
This is the final question, actually.
Oh, it's over.
Yeah,
I'm over. Sad.
Whoa.
Oh, we've got a camera. He don't want the party to end. Look at him twerking.
My final question to you is, what is next for Savage PnP? We've got Manchester coming up in March. What's after that?
So we've got Manchester shows, London shows, Liverpool shows, and we are widening our city outreach. We're going to Birmingham and Bristol. We've actually been offered very unique venues. So we have been offered a boat.
Interesting.
I'm just assessing the health and safety on that currently. But that sounds really great. We've been offered a festival stage in a city that's not Manchester. Again, just working through that. I mean, these things, like I said, they don't have to come into fruition straight away. It's something you can work on. Because like I said, they take execution, they take money.
That's huge.
Yeah. Honestly, so we're excited for that.
Well done.
We are waiting for a venue in Barcelona to be finished that we can
International.
Yeah, we want to do a crossover with some Spanish artists. And as of yesterday, randomly, an American independent, this is an exclusive, an American independent record label contacted us saying that they've been hearing about the work we're doing and would we like to instead of a city swap, like a country swap, like a country collaboration. So that's in the works at the minute. But like I said, we've got artists coming back to us saying like, can you help with our headline shows? So yes, we do. We'll always do the artist showcases because that's what we're known for. That's what we love. And that is the starting point of everything that grows. But we have got so much to offer this year. So stay tuned.
It sounds action-packed. I actually can't wait to see it unfold.
If you're tired now, Chris, you're going to be tired soon.
Honestly, it just sounds like you already had a monster and it's just, what is it? In the bloody Godzilla, isn't it? Like,
do you know what? That's what we want. We like trying new things. We like being different. And we just want to have a good time. Is that a business model? I just want to have a good time.
You can make it one, I guess. If no one's got it, if it works, it works. As long as you're having fun.
Yeah, and lots of fun. Too much fun, but do you know what? the key to life is happiness, and I've not stopped smiling this whole podcast. So,
well, there you go. But anyways, I think that's the end to our podcast. Is there anything else you want to share before we leave?
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much for doing this, by the way. You are honestly, you're actually an inspiration.
I'm an inspiration.
Yeah, you are, because you got good energy, good vibes. How old are you?
I just turned 23.
Happy birthday. Work ethic's cracking. Like, this has all... me and Chris knew we needed to do this, and we've brought Leo on board, who has just basically put a rocket up our ass. We've got it done, and we can't thank him enough. So
you're gonna make me cry.
We appreciate you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. But anyways, I want to say thank you to you two as well, because essentially this media side I haven't actually executed before, and you're taking a chance. I will fulfill.
We'll be invoicing you if it goes wrong.
But
bailiffs at the door.
I am so thankful for the opportunity, and I just can't wait to get started.
Are you ready?
This right here, history in the making.
Love that.
Let's go.
We'll see you on the 15th of March, guys.
Peace.
And the rest of them.